Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Wednesday LiveStream for Dulcimer Crossing. Today, the 2nd of November, is a part of the Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead remembrances, for those who are in Central American and a lot of actually American remembrances. Yesterday was All Saints' Day in the Christian tradition, and a time to remember those who've gone on. And I'm glad to have with me today Aaron May. Whoops, I didn't do the other part. Dang nabbit. I got to send that to the streams so we can see the title. There we go. I'm Steve Uhlberg. We're remembering their tunes. And I'm excited today to have Aaron May with us because at the last Quarantine Festival, Stephen Seifert remembered that he liked dedicating one of the jams we did to Bill Taylor, our friend and dulcimer, wonderful, wonderful human being, friend and dulcimer player and builder who'd gone on. And we played some of his favorite tunes. And I started doing that, and with tears running down my face, realized that this was a way to connect with those who've gone on, is to play their tunes and keep the tunes going. And Aaron May and I were talking about this and thought this is the perfect day for us to think about that. And maybe for you too, if you have some people that you know, the tunes that they loved, please put them into the chat so that we can celebrate them and their memories too. But Aaron May reminded me at the last minute, this is a good thing for a candle. So we've both got candles lit as we do our remembering today. And one of the names that came up right away was Judy Klinkhammer's name. Judy, wonderful, wonderful woman who I think started out her life in Wisconsin, but then made her way down to Mountain View, Arkansas, where everything made sense for her. She said, this is just the most wonderful place. And she was someone who loved teaching beginners. She loved getting people going, and she loved singing harmony with other people. So every time we got together, she'd say, let's sing something. And that was so much fun. But earlier this year, I was going through her one of her books, Dulcimer 101 and a half, when you have a 1.5 fret, what you can do with finger picking and chords. And I played this. She died on my birthday on February 6th, which it feels like such a gift to have known her that I'm just glad to share anything with Judy. And at the Quarantine Festival this past February, it was taking place around that time again. And so I played this tune, Waltz Across Texas. We're in G, Aaron May, if you wanna
All right.
hang in with it here. Here we go. When we dance together, my world's in disguise. It's a fairyland tale that's come true. And when you look at me with those stars in your eyes, I could waltz across Texas with you. Thank you, Judy.
In the sort of dulcimer progression history, I also think of Judy as the one who encouraged a lot of people to try a half fret, the O and a half.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about her history.
So yeah, toward the later years of her life, she got a lot of people to add a half fret. So they would have half, one, one and a half, two, three, all chromatic, those first few frets, and then the whole rest of the instrument would be diatonic. And what it gave you was an across the strings chromatic and a melody string diatonic dulcimer. And so
Aha.
she could play one of every chord, and she could still play all of the regular melodies. So there's quite a few McSpaddens that were made. McSpadden being the dulcimer builder in Mountain View, Arkansas, where she was. Quite a few McSpaddens were made with a half fret because of Judy Klinkhammer. So
There you go. You got to come here to learn all these things. But um, I'm so grateful for her and her joy and her welcome. Her face would
yeah,
just light up when she'd see anybody. she, I don't think she found strangers. Um, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that kicks us off. Who are you thinking of, Aaron May? And anybody in the chat, Talon's got a question that we'll take a look at. Um, oh, Talon's asking the question: do you ever black it out with a marker or something so you don't get confused? The one and a half or the
Um,
half frets. Now, the answer from Aaron May is no.
no, I just put more on. Just uh, just keep adding frets until you don't have any idea what you're doing. It's perfect. That's what I do.
Hang on a second, because I have tried that, Talon. Um, I have a fancy dancy chromatic dulcimer here from the backyard. Well, no, this is the Windy River Dulcimer Company. Now they don't exist anymore, but here's a chromatic one, and all that has worn off. You can see up here. I don't know if you can see quite, but there's some of these frets up here. I use black magic marker on the ones that were not the ones I wanted to see. Um, but the ones down here, I can turn it sideways and see it. But when I look at it this way, it's all worn off. So it did not turn out to be a useful thing. So then I went with I'm going to put dots on the diatonic frets
Uh-huh.
so that out of the chromatic fretboard I could see it diatonically. And
Mhm.
that's not the way the frets are on my regular fretboard, so I don't know if it helped me or not. But it gave me a couple of projects, and
Right, right.
that's worthwhile, right?
I think Folkcraft did a few with two different like colors of frets, like a silvery fret and a more
Oh,
bronze or gold colored fret. And so the extra frets would be the kind of bronze gold color, and the other ones would be the silver color. I
yeah.
don't know if it helped either, but I do know I saw some like that from
Well,
them.
Talon's saying that's his idea or their idea. When it's gone, you should be okay with it when it rubs off, which is what I say about the little stickers. If they fall off, don't put them
Hmm.
back. You don't need them anymore. Now, on the
Right.
hammer dulcimer, James Jones did that. This is not our topic today, but we've started. You have these colors of this is a Sam Rosetta. This gets us in towards Sam Rosetta now. Um,
Hmm.
Sam Rosetta is we have these markers on the hammer dulcimer because of Sam. Thank you very much, Sam. He made it irregular trapezoid so that this bridge could go straight up and down instead of off on an angle. Many other things that you can see that we thank Sam for. But James Jones made his interlinear chromatic that had all the regular stuff here, but the ones he would stick in the two that would go here to make it all chromatic, and he would use bronze markers so that you could look at it and see it would be more expanded. Um, you get more chromatic notes this way, but it wouldn't be as big diatonically this way, but you'd have everything in line. And what that meant was all I had to do was move up to the bronze ones and play those, and I could be in this case, I'd be in E flat or D sharp. I could play all the same shapes, and
Mhm.
so it would make it an interlinear chromatic. Um, that's its own kind of thing. But Sam Rosetta, I asked you and you didn't say anything, so I'm going right to Sam.
Do it.
Okay.
I'm working on the next one in my
Okay.
brain.
Okay. Sam Rosetta passed almost a year ago, or maybe it was October of last year, um, and miss him very much. And I was poking through his website, which is still up, samrosetta.com, and there are these tons of tunes that he wrote with students in songwriting classes at festivals that are
Wow.
all there. But this is one he wrote for my dulcimer, who is still with us, Esther Creek, called Esther's Rambles. And he writes about this. She inspired many players. I'm one. But the dulcimer took Esther in some unexpected directions and on wonderful journeys. Or maybe it was the other way around. And then Esther says about this tune, well, you've got my number. So here we go. This is Esther's Rambles. Esther's Rambles.
That's sweet.
Um,
So
Go ahead.
you showing the hammer dulcimer made me think of Kathy Barton.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, Kathy played hammer dulcimer and I play mountain dulcimer, so I never got to like sit knee to knee and learn from her in the like in a workshop kind of setting, or something like that. But I have a really distinct memory of them being at the Kathy Barton and Dave Para, her partner and husband, um, at the Oklahoma International Bluegrass Festival, which, as its title suggests, is a lot of bluegrass. And so I wasn't expecting to run into a dulcimer player, and neither was she. So, so when we discovered that we were both there, having I don't think met before, or maybe met once, kind of in passing in a hall, like been introduced, know of each other's existence, but not any kind of connection really yet. I can remember them just saying, well, let's just sit down right here and jam. And so, like, almost on the main thoroughfare of the main festival grounds, she sat down with me and my sister, and we just had a little jam right there. And I'll be honest, I felt like one of the most important people in the world on that day. So that's my memory of Kathy Barton making people feel like they matter, and that like stopping to recognize you, and that was really powerful.
Yes, Kathy, I've been thinking about her too. Her Spider Bit the Baby playing on the banjo. Um,
Yeah.
1850s Missouri fiddle tune, is one. It's one of those that I said I got to learn it, so I learned it on mountain dulcimer, and it's got these great slides in it,
And
and
then you taught it to me.
and then I taught it to you. That's right, because when a spider bites a baby and somebody writes a tune about it, this is a reason to learn the tune. Aaron, get ready because I'm going to let you take it next. Here we go. Spider bit the baby, yes. And later, this is not someone who's passed on, but the tune connection. Um, I learned from a hammer dulcimer player. I'm going to forget her name right now, from St. Louis, who had learned one of Don Petty's "Rattlesnake Bit the Baby" tunes from North Carolina. That's similar but not the same. And so we
Uh-huh.
taught a workshop together where it was something's biting the baby, and I we taught rattlesnake, and that was a lot of fun. Spider,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Kathy Barton and Dave Para also had recorded a lot of Civil War music.
Mm.
And for a period of time in high school, I was in a Civil War reenactment band. I was in that band really only long enough to rehearse, and when they started planning for the first reenactment, we realized that they were like really, really serious into the reenactment part, and possibly truly Confederates. And we bailed. We didn't do the reenactment part.
After all, you're Jayhawkers, right? I mean,
And so we just learned a lot of the tunes, but listening to a lot of Barton and Para's recordings of Civil War tunes during that time helped me learn more of the tunes. And so
yes,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Maddie McNeil is another one that we
Maddie,
talked
oh yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't get to know Maddie very well. Her health was failing by the time I was kind of in circles where I was with her, and she didn't have a lot of extra energy to meet new people. And but I did one time substitute for her at Kentucky Music. Something happened at Kentucky Music Week, and she ended up being taken to the hospital for something, and I got to be the sub. So I've subbed for Maddie McNeil.
Oh man,
But yeah, she was
yeah.
very, very, very deeply beloved.
She was the founding editor of Dulcimer Players News.
Ultimate Players News. That legacy. Oh my gosh, just that. Even if she hadn't done anything else, which she did, that legacy of Dulcimer Players News is really amazing.
And she taught both. She played and taught both.
Yeah.
Kathy actually did too. She just was more well known for the hammer dulcimer. Um, Water is Wide was one of Maddie's favorite ones to sing.
Mm.
She and play on the hammer dulcimer. Um,
Mm.
why don't you start and start that one, and I'll move to the hammer dulcimer. We might have been able to play that as a duet because I've got headphones on.
Oh.
Um, let's see.
Technology is so close.
It's so close. Yes. Um, actually, we should sometime in the future show the thing we discovered last week.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I was also thinking about Maddie, how much she loved to sing. I always
yes.
heard Maddie singing.
Yep. Now in the cool of the day, I remember her standing. Have
Mm,
you ever been to Augusta Heritage Center in Elkins, West Virginia?
no, that
Uh,
one's still on my bucket list.
that's Sam is the one who started teaching hammer dulcimer there, and I got to go. And Maddie asked me to come and teach the year that I got to do it. But they've got this that I maybe it's their chapel space. I don't know what they use it for otherwise. For dulcimer festivals, it's the performance space where you're in the middle and everybody's seated around you on these,
Oh,
riser things. They're really so
fabulous.
it's and she stood in the middle of that and sang "Now in the Cool of the Day," and then she had us doing some other of Gene Ritchie's. That's a Gene Ritchie tune.
Yeah.
Other Gene Ritchie. Oh, what a goodly thing if the children of all of the world could dwell together in peace. The peace round.
Mm.
Um, oh, what a goodly thing if the children of the world could dwell together in peace. Oh, what a goodly. Oh, and it just, yeah, it just builds. On the night that
Mm.
I'd learned that George had died, her husband, George Pickow, I went outside under the moon. It was New Year's Eve or something like that. And I just sang that one under the moon
Oh,
for Gene.
yeah. Wow.
There was this week, somebody was looking for Roll on Clouds in the Morning that Gene wrote
Uh-huh.
and had it only in G minor and a roll on clouds in the morning. Roll on clouds in the morning. Roll on clouds in the morning. Let the sun shine down on me. But I couldn't need it. Deep down trouble I see. Da, 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 da. Let the sun shine down on me. And what I would do with that one, because I was doing it with guitar, was go up a half step every time for a new. You could do that.
I could do that. All
but
those frets again.
what this person was saying was I recommended the book and it's the one you just got, you said. And then
I
okay.
yeah, I just got the Singing Family of the
Oh yeah.
Cumberlands.
Yeah.
And the one that you were talking about was the Celebrate Life.
Celebration of
Yeah.
life. This got a
Mhm.
picture of her on the cover. Um, I once was at Kentucky Music Week. It was the year after she passed, and I said when I first learned to play dulcimer, I got a book that had a picture of a redheaded woman on the front with a mountain dulcimer, and I fell in love. And I didn't know that she had sons my age. And
Um,
John was there at that festival. Um,
yeah.
but when I
John
recommend,
passed away recently too.
I know, choral.
Mhm.
He really loved choral music.
Cool music, yeah. That's those singing parts.
Um, this person wrote back and said, "But I found this book, but it doesn't have any tablature." And I said, "Oh yes, this is from the time before tablature was popular."
Uh-huh.
And so many of us don't even know or remember that. All the books that were published didn't have tablature. They had musical notation. Then they would have musical notation with single numbers of where you'd
Uh-huh.
tune to an open drone and play the melody. And then some
Mhm.
people didn't think musically at all. They'd only write tablature with no musical notation. And
Mhm.
so anyway, that's a
Yeah.
whole other thing.
Speaking of that, this
Ah,
was my first book, which brings us to another remembrance. This is
yes.
Larkin's Dulcimer book. by Larkin Bryant Cohen. And she died a couple years ago. But hers was that it was the standard notation with numbers underneath.
Yeah. And her long lines were how long you'd hold it, right?
Hold it. Right. So there were dots if it was a back and forth strum, and line dashes if it was a quarter note, and then a long dash if it was a longer held note.
Okay. In the
Hmm.
chat, there's a couple of things. Jim Fry's reminding us that Ed Trickett just recently died. He wasn't remembering any Ed Trickett um, tunes at this moment, but he arranged a lot of the Gordon Bach Trickett, and they had a trio, and he arranged a lot of those tunes. He did play dulcimer also. And Doug Jones, you're remembering the tune learned. It's similar to a song you learned called "America, America, Let Me Tell You How I Feel." Was that for the "Roll on Clouds in the Morning," or is that a different one, Doug?
I mean, maybe that was the peace medley, actually.
Oh, the peace medley.
Round. The peace
Oh yeah,
round.
America, America, let me tell you how I feel. Oh yeah, interesting. So some of these people are, as we start thinking about them, are people that influenced us directly or indirectly
Yeah.
or only us and didn't necessarily. I'm thinking of Carl Hendricks. I don't know if you ever knew Carl. He was taught theater at K-State in Manhattan, and this deep bass radio voice. And he was a good friend of John Stockard, who was a mountain dulcimer builder. I think John was in Georgia, who built beautiful instruments, and he had one. But he would always call. I can't remember the name of that tune, but
That's the Four Marys.
oh, okay.
It took
I
me a
think he,
minute, but I
I,
think
th-
that's.
I think he called it Lady Mary.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the Four Marys is let the word have to the kitchen gone, oh, word's gone to the hall. Let the Mary is with child by the highest steward of all. Last night there were 4 Marys, tonight there be but 3. There was Mary Beaton and Mary Seaton, that's my family's name, and Mary Carmichael and me. That's why I learned that tune, because I've never heard a tune that had any of my people in it.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
Um, but it's just Carl was not someone that was necessarily big in the dulcimer world, but
Hmm.
big in mine. And he would
Yeah.
come when we do the second set concert at Winfield. That's the tune
Yep.
he would always call. Lady Mary.
Mm,
Lady Mary, thank you.
Lady
I'd
Mary.
forgotten the name of that.
Yeah. Hmm. It's good to remember. It's good to remember
Yeah.
important people.
And I'm amazed. I have our mutual friend Deb Cowan from Local 1000 has a tagline on her email says, "A song that is not sung dies." And
Hmm.
one of she says she's a singer of great songs, and a writer of bad ones. So she's not a songwriter. She
Yep.
makes sure that songs keep living, and that there's a way in which when I play the tunes that I know are the favorites of others or that I learned from others, there's a
Yeah.
connection that spans all the divides, time, space, the death, the river Styx, the river Jordan, whichever river it is. There's something about the power of music that lets us do that um,
Yeah.
across generations. Well, obviously, we're playing the music of people who've gone on long before us, and
Right.
we may not know their names, but I believe when we're playing them, we're connecting with them. Deborah. Ah,
Yeah. We didn't even talk about David Schnoffer,
I
who
know.
was one of my very formative influences.
How about let's close with Elk River Blues
Oh, okay.
because we both learned that at the same workshop from him.
We
Me and
did.
Steven.
Yep.
I was in the back row. You were in the front.
The very front, right in the middle. Because my mommy wanted to make sure I could see. And I did not mind. I did not mind being in the front.
This tune, Ernie Carpenter's farm was flooded when they made one of the dams for the hydroelectric plant in West Virginia, and he sat on the ridge and played this on his fiddle. The Elk River was being dammed up, um, and he was losing his ancestral land. So there's very, very poignant. Why don't you start it? Why don't you start it? Yeah. Oh. Well, I think we didn't get through very many names, did we?
We didn't.
Um, but I think this is a good theme for jams when we do get together. Let's play
Mhm.
the favorite tunes of somebody else's jam.
Yeah.
Somebody else's favorite tunes.
I like
Um,
it.
and Doug is saying those of us late to the game never got a chance to learn from these people, but we have learned. We have those people who learn directly from them. Yes, and you know what? Doesn't matter when you start. You're always late to the game, and it's always the beginning for you. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Um, we had
Yeah.
our workshop last week with Christian Hewitt from France, and he said, if you started yesterday, no one plays like you. Doesn't matter how long you've been playing. If you started yesterday or 10 years ago, no one plays like you. You are your own virtuoso. You need to
Mhm.
play like you. Um, Jim is saying when a musician dies, where does the music go? Thousands of hours learning and practice, hundreds of performing. It lasts in the memories of those who heard. Yeah. And if we
Yeah.
keep it going, well, then the ripples never end up leaving the pond.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm so glad we did this today.
Me
Um,
too.
I want to also call attention to, let's see, let me get my tab up here. Coming up in a week and a Saturday, the Baritone Dulcimer Day on November 12th, a day dedicated to baritone dulcimer playing. We have workshops. Instructors are Deborah Hamoris, who is our host, myself, Thomasina Levy, and Larry Conger. And there'll be a concert at the end of the day, tea time, um, standard and baritone and standard duets. I believe Elaine Conger is going to join us so that she and Larry can demonstrate those from the same Zoom space. but
Nice.
that's coming up. But even sooner than that, we've got something else coming up.
That's
And
right. Our next Dulcimer Crossing live event is tomorrow.
it is. We just are so lucky to get these right next to each other this time.
Yeah.
If you are a workshop or mentor level student, you can come to this live events page. The upcoming events page shows this was last week for Christian. This is the one that's coming up tomorrow. And Mary Lynn is going to, that's not what we wanted. Sorry. We wanted this one. This has it's a Hammer Dulcimer focused workshop, 12 techniques or concepts that make you better player. And if you just want to go to the Dulcimer Crossing home website, you can find the link there. If you're a DIY member, you can just upgrade, and you've already paid so much this month that you can pay just half price to get that workshop, and you'll have access to that. So
Yay, sweet.
I think we need to do this again, Aramay.
I think so too.
Yeah. In the meantime, keep playing those tunes. Keep remembering our friends. Yeah. Deborah's saying there's an 85-year-old posting his first time in a Facebook group, played for a month. I love it.
Yeah, it's
I love
awesome.
it. No fear. No fear. Thank you all for joining us today. This will be archived on the Dulcimer Crossing site and in a curated way and in a willy-nilly way here on Facebook. I've tried to find things on our own page. It's very difficult, but they're here. So until next time.
Bye.